Hello, welcome into this edition of the Dean Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kuiper, the Director of Athletic Communications here at Cal. Coach, it's been a great week for you guys. Got two big W's, conference play. A little bit easier to come back into work this week after two W's, I'm sure, than in some of the other weeks here earlier this season.
No doubt. Makes it a little bit easier to come in, and we played well both games. So just got to keep it going now.
Yeah, in the beginning of Peace West play, we talked about it a little bit last show. It's that routine now, Wednesday, Saturday, so the guys getting the routine now. Classes have started back up, so you get some more students around campus and also a game, so that obviously makes a little bit of difference there. Getting that idea of routine and just knowing you're going to play every Wednesday, Saturday, basically.
Yeah, yesterday, very vibrant on campus, walking around. Students are back, life, for those, 4 weeks. It's just, the athletes that are here, and it's very quiet, so it's good to have it rowdy again and have the students back.
So again, looking back at last week, first game up was against Slippery Rock, a team that was really surging. They'd won 7 in a row. Got a couple all-conference guys back. Guys are familiar with the program. A lot of guys there returning from last year. And they were picked in the top of the PSAC West standings in the preseason poll. So a team that had high expectations coming into the season and have been playing well for Wednesday.
Yeah, and they're a very good team. They present a lot of problems defensively. They're long, they're athletic, and offensively. They've got like 5 guys that can make plays and do a lot of different things. So really, really pleased with our defense to start the game in the first half, to give up 17 points. I was really proud of our guys, and we followed the game plan about as well as we have the entire year.
Yeah, 17 points, you're obviously going to get some points there, but the idea of not only do you play so well defensively, but offensively too. You guys were really just cutting, moving. Everything was fast, in motion. Guys were really in rhythm. You had jumped out to a huge 57-17 lead at halftime. It's much harder to find a better first half overall, offensively and defensively, you probably played this season.
Yeah, best game we've played thus far, for sure, on both ends of the floor. Offensively, guys were just clicking, but again, I think like our defense was able to get us some baskets in transition. You start to get some layups and open threes. That rim gets bigger and bigger, so really helped us. And we made great passes. We assisted on a lot of baskets, and when we're doing those things, we're a good team.
And it's one of the things there for Slippery Rock, really got to take it out of rhythm. One of their top guys from last year, Jomo Goings, is an all-conference player. He got 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes, and it was already a deficit. But once he was out of the game, you could just tell the whole first half was a little bit deflated because they didn't have one of their main guys out there.
Yeah, he's an explosive scorer, can score in a lot of different ways. And did pick up 2 fouls, and I don't know if he tweaked his ankle. He looked a little bit banged up early in the game, but he is an explosive player, and him not out there and not helping them definitely was in our favor.
But in that game, you talk about backcourts, looking at explosive players, Cam and Donald, they just really led the way offensively. Both scored 27, both made 4 3-pointers. Those two, when they're both out there together, they create so much separation and space for each other, especially being able to shoot the ball so well.
Yeah, they complement each other, their games. They both first shoot the ball exceptionally well. But both of them create space for one another as well because they shoot it so well. So it gives them some driving lanes to do some things. So they complement each other very well, and they both played extremely well against Slippery Rock.
And in that game too, Keandre Deshields gets his first career double-double, 11 and 15, and that's off the bench. And then Dahlman does what Dahlman does, 11 rebounds and 5 blocks. He's just altering so many shots and being his presence defensively.
Yeah, Keandre has the opportunity to be a very good player defensively for us. He's strong, he's athletic, and he didn't have his best offensive game, but he did so much to help us win that game just by rebounding and playing really good defense for us. And he's coming. I think he's somebody that will continue to get better, and we will need to continue to get better as the year goes on. And I think Dahlman's just really embraced what he does well. His rebounding and defense is very, very good, and he's hard to score over. He's long. He can guard bigger, smaller guys, and he's done a really, really good job in that. And he works extremely hard, so it's really, really good to see him be able to put these types of games together.
And those two guys are big defensively. Slippery Rock only scored 17 points in the first half, 7 of 30, and finished the game only shooting 30%. And for the overall, they were just 4 of 23 from three-point land. Maceo Austin was 0 for 3, and he's one of their top guys back from last year too. He's a first-team all-conference guy, and he only finished with 9 points.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He can beat you in a lot of different ways. He's great driving the basketball. He's great at posting up. He can knock down open shots. So to hold him to underneath double figures, that's a win for us for sure.
I mean, Slippery Rock's been one of those teams, when you first got hired here at Cal, and Mike Cattell, one of those really tough teams. But you guys have sort of found a way to get the series under control here. You've won 5 in a row at home. I know you always like to win your home games for sure, especially in conference play. But it's really talking about the idea of the program making that jump to winning games almost every year against the same teams at home, with 5 in a row against Slippery Rock.
Yeah, and they're a good team. They're always they always have very good players. They play their style. They're long, they defend. So being able to beat them, consistently at home is a good thing because we haven't had as much luck when we had to go on the road up there.
And it's one of those things that defensively played so well. I didn't realize it until looking at it in the day. Had 52 rebounds, which is a nice number, but 43 defensive rebounds. You just prevented them from getting any second chance points and just crashing the glass. You had to be really pleased with the effort on the glass for the guys.
Yeah, and that's a big part of their offense. They have guys that can go get it. So our guys, did a good job. When you look, you had Dowman with 11 rebounds and Keandre with 15 rebounds. Really good. Cam was up there with like 6 or 7 rebounds. So we're getting a lot of different rebounds from a lot of different guys, which was big for them because, like I mentioned, they are a really good offensive rebounding team. And not only getting them, but scoring off of them.
And you talk about almost polar opposites in terms of teams. You have a really long athletic team, and a lot of guys can do whatever. But then you go to Seton Hill, which is a straight-up zone team for years with this coaching staff. And it's just a different dynamic. The idea of you had a couple of days that he's used to it. But again, going into Seton Hill on Saturday, it's a nice close trip, but also such a difference in styles from Slippery Rock to Seton Hill.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about our league. You do get different flavor of basketball. So, as a coach, it's fun to prepare for any team. But, Seton Hill is much different, with their 2-3 zone. They work really hard at it. Offensively, they present a lot of challenges with ghosting and slipping screens and good spacing. So a team that's difficult to guard, and they typically don't beat themselves. And we went on the road and we played great for the first 30 minutes of the game, and I thought we kind of stumbled there for a little bit for about 6-7 minutes, and then we were able to finish the game, which is important for us.
And it's one of those things too. It's a nice trip. I think it's nice and short, but also it's a different style of gym where you're playing some of the bigger gyms, the KCAC, the Convo, and even up in Gannon. But that's a small, condensed gym. It makes it it's a different dynamic, especially for senior freshmen who've never played there before.
Yeah, and I'm not sure even if their students were quite back yet, but they had a nice crowd for the game. There was a lot of yelling and screaming going on, and it's loud because it is a smaller building. So it's a good environment to go up there and play.
Yeah, in the first half, he started out really well. He's shooting 54% from the floor. Had a 38-26 lead, but again, Cam leading the way, 25 points, shooting 8 of 14, 4 of 9, and then Donald had 18, and he had a couple guys, 8 and 9, and then Dahlman and Keandre, 9 and 7 rebounds, and even Cam, 8 rebounds. So it was really team effort on the glass again.
Yeah, first offensively, Cam was very efficient. He had good looks and he knocked them down. He was active against the zone. He had some good cuts where he pulled up for some 15-footers. He made threes. He did a very good job, with that. And his defense, just let alone his defense in the last 2 games, has been very good. So he's playing at a very high level, and it's fun to see. I think getting Donald back has been able to let Cam go into his natural position and be able to do that. Just be a very much more efficient player. Donald brings so much to us, and I think now that Donald's healthy and he's got practices under his belt, it makes a big difference for us. He had 18 points, I think 8 assists, and just kind of controls tempo, for us. He did a great job late in the game, breaking the press, and getting the ball over court and getting the ball to good foul shooters. So did a very, very good job with that. Dowman, again, like I said, just was great on the glass. Made some shots early in the game. We did a good job in the first half, spreading them out and making good passes and knocking down shots against the zone. So I felt like offensively in the first half, we were much smoother. I thought the second half we were pretty good offensively. We got to the foul line a lot more in the second half. But I just thought we did a really good job. We got good contributions, obviously, again, from Keandre. I thought Caden Hanna had another solid game, doing a lot of things, so to speak, the dirty work. But he's very good at that, so it was very good. And then, Jordan Buchanan and Duncan Moy were solid for us as well.
You talk about the idea of difference in free throws. Only 1 attempt in the first half, 20 in the second half, but you're shooting 17-20. So when you got there, you took advantage in the second half for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and we needed them. Like every one of them was very crucial. The last 10 minutes of the game, they call fire. They struggled shooting the ball the first 30 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes of the game, somebody opened the rim and they were on fire.
Yeah, Ryan Meister, one of those all-conference guys coming back. He had 6 threes in the game, finished with 23. In the second half, they made 8 threes, and they only attempted 9 threes in the first half. So that just tells you cutting it back in. They were efficient from beyond the arc, and Ryan just was one of those guys. He's just starting to throw things up, and it just got bigger and bigger every time he took a shot.
Yeah, and we did a great job defensively. They scored 26 points in the first half, and we were communicating very well. I thought in the second half, we didn't communicate quite as well, and they got some good looks, and they made us pay for them.
And it's one of those things there, too, looking at the series there. It's 11 in a row against Seton Hill, a couple different coaches in that span, but also at the same point that the coaches there, Seton Hill has brought a different dynamic to that program, and they're playing everybody so much tougher now than they did a couple years ago. It's one of those teams they're right there waiting to make that jump, and they're a solid program.
Yeah, and for us, obviously Slippery Rock was in second place. Seton Hill was sitting above us, this week, and they were 10-6 overall. So they've been very good throughout the course of the year. So for us, we were at the bottom of the league, and we're just trying to climb our way back into contention where, we're able to get into the tournament and, continue to get better. I think that's, what we talked a little bit about last week. It's something that, we know we have to keep working because there's a lot of room for growth for us to continue to get better. So our practices really are just so different this time of year than they were last year at this time. I mean, night and day as far as just what we're working on in practice now compared to last year at this time.
Well, looking back at last week's 2 victories, we got a couple more conference games coming up. We'll take a quick break here. Looked at the PSAC West standings, see who we're playing this week, and also some news that came out from the conference office yesterday. We'll be right back.
Coach Danny Sancomb and the Vulcans men's basketball is ready to take the conference and the nation by storm this season. A non-conference schedule that starts on November 8th is followed by the PSAC West play in January. Pack the Convocation Center with 13 home games featuring non-conference foes such as Concord, Lincoln, and Wilmington, as well as conference opponents IUP, Gannon, Slippery Rock, Clarion, Edinboro, Seton Hill, and Pitt Johnstown. Follow Cal Vulcans for the all-up-to-date schedule. Catch all the games on YouTube with CUTV Sports 1 and also the PSAC Digital Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Hello, welcome back to this edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kiefer. With me taking a couple minutes here on Tuesday morning. Coach, you got some nice news yesterday afternoon from the conference office, 2 wins. But it doesn't happen very often that we got both PSAC West awards. Cam Pollock got Player of the Week, and Dalman Alexander got Defensive Player of the Week. So it's good to see the conference rewarding those 2 guys for their great efforts.
Yeah, I think that's a translation of winning. When you win, those types of things happen. We had 2 good wins, but Cam and Dalman were so good this past week in what they do. Cam scoring the basketball, assisting, did a lot of good things for us and was great defensively as well. And then Dalman, his rebounding and block shots was very big, for us. So very, very happy. I kind of look at those things. Obviously, they individually get them, but really feel like it's a team type of award as far as if we didn't win both games, neither one of them would have probably have gotten the award. So, they go hand in hand. And, the first of the 2, winning is really the most important for both of those guys. Cam and Dalman are all about that. So I'm happy for them, and hopefully they can continue to play at that high level.
Yeah, just looking at for the week there in 2 games, Cam averaged 26 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists. So you talk about true balance there. And then Dahlman, 10 rebounds and 3 blocks in 2 games. So just a solid effort in 2 games by both those guys, really helping the Vulcans get a couple victories there. But looking at this week, I got 2 more conference games, starting with on Wednesday against Clarion, a team it's 8-7 overall, but they've lost 6 of their last 7. So they're sort of scuffling right now, but they've had some wins earlier in the year.
Yeah, they've had some injuries too. You know, their leading scorer missed a couple games. He's been back. He did play in their last game. You know, they present a lot of challenges. They're good offensively. They attack well. They run a lot of 5-out like we do. They have good spacing, and guys can make plays. So, you know, a key component will be, are we going to be able to keep them in front and make them take contested shots? They start to get downhill. They're really hard to guard.
Yeah, you referenced Cam Kearney is actually second in the conference, averaging 21.1 points per game as an all-conference player. It's reached 1,000 points. They got a new point guard this year, too, guy who leads the PSAC and assists a transfer from Mount Olive. And they actually shoot the ball from three-point line. I saw they're top 3 in the conference shooting the ball from perimeter. So it's one of those teams definitely got to defend the arc, but also be able to drive in something like Cam, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Their point guard, he sets the table good for their guys and puts a lot of pressure on the defense as well.
And I know it's a little bit further into the week there, but Saturday, looking at UPJ, a team, Coach Rook's been there for 35 years. I looked it up today. I know he's been there. He's been a staple of UPJ athletics, and he's been a part of a lot of winning teams. They're actually had a rough year last year, but they've bounced back this year, have a little bit solid season so far.
Yeah, they're always difficult to guard. So, you know, watched them a few times this year because we're starting to have some common opponents, and they're very good in their offensive sets. They share the ball very well, and defensively, they're going to make you work. You're going to have to make some shots against them. So we'll have to, you know, get through Clarion, and then Thursday, Friday, really prepare to play them on the road. So we're going to have to be ready. It's a big week for us, and you know, our mentality is, you know, one game at a time, and our focus right now is all on Clarion.
Yeah, we won. Looking at the standings there, Cal's won 3 of its last 4 games, working its way back up the standings. Just talking about the overall, looking at the PSAC as a whole, only Gannon has won more than 2 games in a row right now. Everybody else has had streaks right around 2, so everybody's that parity, and the idea is just beating each other up. It's just really what the PSAC is right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity this year. You know, Gannon is, you know, at the top, you know, of the league, but outside of that, I think the other teams are very comparable, and it's going to be, you know, like every year, who's going to execute, who's going to do the things that it takes to win on a night in and night out basis. And, you know, the thing is, you're going to have to beat somebody. Most of the teams in our league aren't going to beat themselves. So you got to be ready to execute and do that for 40 minutes. And if you don't, you'll be on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of looking at the standings overall in the PSAC East, just seeing it mix there. Everybody's played about 9 games. The top 4 teams in the East were all teams Cal played a crossover. So it's one of those things of you guys really had a gauntlet of a schedule while also battling the injuries in the fall semester. So now you're getting used to what the scenario is going to be for the guys, but also they've at least been battle tested already so far.
Absolutely. You know, I think our record would be a little bit different if we were healthy through that stretch of it. And it was difficult. Like we mentioned last week, you know, guys got thrown into the fire. I just feel like we're getting better. And, you know, we got a long way to go. I know there'll probably be some inconsistencies when you're playing with young guys, but really happy with our efforts, bouncing back from the Gannon game, from the practices, and then it's carried over to the game. So we need to continue that trend, and it's important. You know, we are practicing extremely hard this time of year, and we're practicing longer than we have practiced in the years past. And our guys have been very good with it, and, you know, we're going to continue to work hard and hopefully get better.
Yeah, a chance to see them get work hard and get better. It'll be tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. the Convocation Center. Might be a little bit later. Women's games have been running a little long with a lot of fouls going on this year, but again, Convocation Center doubleheader versus Clarion tomorrow, beginning at 5:30 and 7:30. Come check it out and also follow along on CUTV Sports. Thanks for watching.